Live and direct. Welcome everybody to the Marketing Accountability Council reality check. It's September 12th, according to the Greco-Roman calendar, if you believe in it still. I'm sitting here with Jessica, Moni, Michael, Jay. Everybody, welcome. We're going to just start really quick. I wanted to go around and ask everybody, what was a win this week? Anything you're struggling with? What are you doing offline to chill? Let's start at the bottom with Jessica. Jessica, you told us your mom's in town.
So chill right now.
So
I'm
super chill.
I've just been playing Tetris in my house. That's like one of my main pastimes is like, I don't necessarily have Tetris. Yep.
Fit those wins in when you can. I think that was everything. Did you just answer every question there? I think you did. Tetris was the answer for all of it.
Yes.
Okay, good. Michael, up to you. Wins, struggles, and what are you doing to chill?
Lots of wins, lots of validation for Clean Data and Data Agency this week, including today. Struggling with understanding
why your dog is pooping all over your house.
Oh.
Sorry.
Is it a marketing
TMI.
problem? Is that a marketing problem?
Yes, but also just I'm kind of struggling with the idea that ethics is a bad word.
The E word.
And what am I doing offline to chill? It's football weekend.
Oh, so that's it. You're watching some sports combat. That's amazing. I hope your team wins or the team. Moni, what are you doing? Wins, struggles, chilling.
I have a plan on my calendar to relaunch my brand on Monday.
Ooh.
So that is my win and my struggle because I'm not quite there yet. I got some work to do. And I got Hulu finally, and Hulu has all 12 seasons of Love Island UK. So,
oh no, stop it. Moni,
I'm in, baby.
I'm judging you hard.
Woo, no.
Starting at season 1. Oh, let's get
Is that because you want to be part of the conversation or you're really like, you love it?
Ooh.
I really love it. Like like trash TV is my jam. It's just I want to shut my brain off.
Like I don't want to derail, but did you like this season of USA? Okay, that was trash, right? Okay.
It was amazingly terrible. Like yes, it was bad, but it was also awesome.
Yeah, when you expect it to be bad,
that's what makes it awesome. Like the more bad it is, it's great.
So in the Smartless podcast, they ask a lot of people what they're doing to chill, and the amount of high-powered, high agency, really high-profile women that are watching Love Island.
Just garbage reality TV.
But some of the most intensely smart, intelligent, on time, they just want to check out. So
check it out. Turn it
judging
off.
Is the key. I talked to a data scientist who works at Publicis. That's her jam.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Okay, Jay, wins, struggles, chilling.
Whatever Michael said are my wins. But truthfully, all this work that we're doing on forming the Clean Data Alliance, which the community will learn a lot more about in the future. There have been tremendous amounts of progress on this initiative, and there's been a lot of clarity around who we need to work with and how we need to work with them in order to deliver what could be world-changing progress. So that's a win. But in addition, I've also figured out how to do something very tangible and tactical that will serve the same group of people and serve me with an offering that could be in market as soon as next week or the week after, around that.
Wow.
What am I struggling with? I really don't want to get into it, but it was a struggle the whole week. I felt like I was punched so many times this week by so many people, including a person who said to me on the call, "I apologize, but," and I said to her, "If you're saying but, you're not apologizing." And then she said to me, "Well, then I'm not apologizing." So if that gives you any indication of the kind of week I had, But at least I confronted her on that ridiculousness. You don't apologize and then say but.
Yeah.
And then what am I doing to chill? I'm here in New York City with my girlfriend, and at her place, and we are having pepper steak, which is her special recipe for dinner tonight, with a lot of red wine.
The Beaujolais is pouring.
Yes.
That's
so,
amazing.
Jake, let's throw it right back at you because you have to answer these questions as well. You can't. You're not off the hook.
I know, I'm not. Win this week is Blamo and Shame the Dog. I released them into the wild. I was sitting on top of that. I was struggling with that for a while. I was like, they're not ready. And I said, just let the birds fly. You know, so I'm up to tens of views on YouTube.
Congratulations.
I knew it was the right time. So struggling, you pick it. You know, it's hard to balance family life and online life. I just feel like I'm aware of a lot of things because I spend time online. Chill. So like I bring a lot of that weirdness that I get from the box I'm staring at, and I bring it out to the real world. So I'm struggling with trying to drive that line harder because the news is insane. And there's no way that I can just look at my kids and talk about spelling tests and things like that. So I think what I'm going to do to chill is maybe work less about this thing and stare at the windows of, you know, the eyes of the people in my life, because that's the windows that needs updating. Okay, let's move on. We're talking about that I word, influencers, which throughout history, if you were in the Black Plague, you were cool with this idea. You were like, who has it? And then the Spanish flu, who? COVID, who? But now we're kind of cool with it because we're influencing culture. But I wanted to dig before we opened up the floor. What does influencer really mean? I mean, I think it's taken on a couple different things. So I wanted to walk us through history. Do some research. The word influencer was first used in 1662 for the exact use case, somebody who is pushing something out in an influential way, being paid for it. But then me and chat had a fun time. I was like, what's like a historical influencer? And they were like Queen Victoria, Victorian houses, the Victorian style. That is from that lady. But it's of that era. Genghis Khan, he had a strong way of influencing people. Babe Ruth, you know, is given in his example of somebody who turned their iconic fame into sort of an advertising lane. Audrey Hepburn, Marilyn Monroe were mentioned, you know, and that's like cultural stuff. But now we're over here into the right. We're talking about updating this thing into the influencer model. So you got Oprah, you got Jen M, who I just discovered right now. So that's how out of touch I am. In her series Go to Bed With Me.
Ooh.
Which is, I think it's a bedtime routine. And then Mr. Beast, who is unironically posed here with money coming out of his ears. So thinking about all of these things, thinking about the way maybe icons have turned into influencers, this is kind of where I landed. There's an influencer drives immediate trends and behaviors through active engagement, while an icon embodies lasting cultural meaning that transcends time. In a way, an influencer is a bit more active. An icon is passive, but you're transcending this commerce into a myth. Now the fame is commerce. Icons and influencers are merging into one category, brand conduits. And so Rihanna is given as an example, and you could, Ariana Grande is another one who has a fashion line, but they're also coming from stardom, and it's sort of blending all together. So I wanted to open up the conversation here. Influencers, influence, what does it mean in marketing today? Let's open up the floor. Well, you know, who has something to say here?
You know,
Go ahead, Jessica.
well, it's just interesting talking about the history, like the original, the way watches are made today is because Marie Antoinette said, I don't care how long it takes or how much money, like I want the watch to work in a certain way. And like, that was a collaboration, right? I think it was an Audemars Piguet, but it's just, we're looking back on that, and I think
That's a
that,
deep cut.
yeah, I think it's interesting to think about like influencer culture and limited edition collabs in that sense.
Totally. Yeah. That one of the examples given was royalty. Tons of, nobility that kind of passed down influence, either through active or passive means. Jay, what were you going to say?
What I'm going to say is that I think that now that I see what you shared about the history of influence, I think it's sort of sad that our industry at large thinks that influence is an influencer that you can pay to say something about your brand or do something about your brand, and then measure it with some very tactical measure. I think that's the prevailing definition of influence in marketing. Or it's not influence, but I think influencer and influence are becoming one and the same.
So
Yes.
so the big question is the concept of influence replacing the concept of brand?
I
Moni?
mean, are we going to get to that in a minute, or like, are we?
No. No, there are things that connect that. But Moni, what were you going to say? It seemed like you were.
No, to Michael's question, I don't think that they replace each other. I think there's been a flattening in marketing going on, right? We think in a very hierarchical society, right? There's things at the top and those things influence things at the bottom, and we're flattening that whole thing out, right? As we're all content creators, that means we all have the ability to be an influencer at some point if we raise our level of content up to the place where other people want to pay attention to it and consume it and stuff like that. That has consequences to it too as well, but the alternative is what we had, where a few at the top have that power, and now more people have the ability to have that power. So I guess it's take the good with the bad. I'm not sure.
Well, look at our very own celebrity endorser, Jay Mandel, right here with us. With I can't remember the name of the brand that you're influencing.
Descript. Are we allowed to say?
Yes, I am. I have been paid by Descript. I created my piece of content that has been launched into the world. It's the first time anyone ever reached out to me and said that I will be paid to create a video. And I participated in the whole process, and it's now live in the world.
How do you feel about it, Jay? Like, first of all, like, how did you feel when you were reached out to? And then how did you feel through the process of someone who potentially has some influence in other people purchasing this product?
Oh, these are good questions. First of all, I was honored to be reached out to. And I was reached out to about a month ago. And I was told that I would be paid $700 for this. On an earlier call with Jessica, I believe we discussed the customer acquisition costs for a piece of software like Descript. And we realized that the cost of acquiring a customer like me would probably add up to what they paid me. And then they gave me a year's worth of their software. I then used the software for about a month. And I had lots of conversations with Jake while I was doing it, because Jake has used the software for the Ninja Cat podcast. And I invested a lot of time to learn the software and come up with an output that I am quite proud of. But it was not easy for me to get to that point. So at the end of the day, I feel really good about it. I actually like the software. I think the software has lots of potential, but I need to find the place for Descript in my workflow. So it and potentially if I find that place in my workflow, I could end up being a customer beyond the year of the software that they gave me.
I had a similar sort of opportunity being an influencer I did a co-collab with a company called Graphy. They're basically a Teachable competitor. It's a tool that I've used before they reached out to me. And basically I did like a presentation AMA where they brought people on for me to do the presentation. In the middle of the presentation, they basically did a pitch. And it was a very heavy sales pitch. And if I had known that it was going to go the way it went, I might not have done it. And not because I don't believe in Graphy. I use the freaking tool, right? It's not that. It's just the way that they conducted the pitch was very heavy-handed. And it's the opposite of what I consider my brand to be. And it felt uncomfortable. It felt a little, for my audience, dishonest to the way that I pitch. Right. So it wasn't the product, it was the positioning of kind of, it felt heavy handed. I noticed
Graphy on some of your LinkedIn posts over the week, and I was curious about that. I was also at the dentist office this week, and I had a new hygienist. I go to Wally, the dental office where you spend $199 for unlimited cleanings throughout the year. And the hygienist told me while my mouth was open being cleaned that their marketing strategy is all influencer pretty much right now. And the influencer typically gets paid a full year for free of the cleanings. So the question becomes, at the end of the day, Moni, how did you feel? So I didn't know the context of the Graphy, but now your name is associated with that. Now my name is associated with the script. Whoever's doing the Wally thing is associated with Wally. What is the baggage of this, and is it worth it for $700 or whatever you're getting paid?
Exactly. I mean, I had to wrestle with that, right? Because I had I know what that product is. I would support people purchasing it. I just don't support being trapped in an environment where you're kind of, the way they did it, you felt kind of forced to take their boot camp or whatever. I didn't like that. That's not the way. I don't want people to assume that
what they're all trying to create, obviously, is authentic word of mouth promotion, which is
that's inauthentic.
And
but they're using my audience. That's what I don't like. Right. That's the part.
And so what they're doing is they're saying, rather than going out and spending the time finding the people who we really know want to talk about us and promote us, we're going to go and find the lowest hanging fruit and pay them to promote us. And then we're going to tell them we're going to tell them how we want them to do it. But what they should be doing is kind of a little bit what the script did with you, Jay, which was basically, we want you to do this. And you wrote your own script, right?
Yes, they did not tell me what to say. I wrote my script. And not only that, I was not comfortable with posting it without disclosing that this was a sponsored post. So I made it very clear in my post that was the case. They didn't tell me yes or no on that, though. They took my script. They didn't change it at all. They took what I said in the video. They didn't change it at all. So they did it right, I think.
So let's park this, because we got to get to this next thing where we're going to be talking about larger influence. But I think one of the things that we take away from this part of the conversation is, in one instant, a brand reaches out to somebody and sort of controls the way the influence is happening through the influencer. And then in another one, they sort of reach out, give you the same thing, but let you do your thing. And I think a lot of influencers, even content creators, feel similarly about client relations in an advertising agency. You know what? It's just like, now you get to have the same problems that advertising agencies had, and it's just you. So I wanted to talk about Jay's experience and Jess's experience. Now, we talked about the way we actually, as marketers, that was cool. I would love to say that somebody reached out to me to be an ambassador for something, but I have yet to have that. So I create my own things, and I am the ambassador.
Blame-o.
So I wanted Jay to talk about his experience with his kid going to this mall and interacting with Jordan and Salish Matter. Names that I just discovered. I mean, doing this, I'm like, oh, wow, there's a whole ecosystem that people are blind to. That's another takeaway. So, Jay, give us quick the rundown of this. He's written numerous articles about it. Dive into those. We'll provide them. But give us the
essence of it is that a couple weeks ago, my daughter said, Salish will be at the American Nightmare Mall in New Jersey. It's actually
And
called,
wait, explain who Salish is.
Yeah,
What
who are
excuse
these
me.
people?
So,
Who are
and
the
it's
Madders?
the American Dream Mall. Salish is the daughter of Jordan Matter. Jordan Matter is a photographer that rose to fame by taking provocative pictures of underage dancers in dangerous situations. That's the research I did on Jordan, and the book came out in like 2012 or whenever, a bunch of years ago, and he's been sort of studying the media environment, and he had his channel, and then he invited his daughter into the channel, and the channel took off when she got on it. I have to tell you, I've watched a bunch of her videos, and I am so annoyed by her. Hi, I'm Salish. It's really annoying.
People love that.
But the truth is that my daughter religiously watches it, and they do fun things like pie in the face, and Salish got a dog, and Salish has a boyfriend, and it's like, like the TV we watched when we were kids, but it's a YouTube channel. So Marissa, my daughter, invites. She says, "Hey, let's go to the mall." We invited a friend. It was a free ticket on Eventbrite. The night before, I see an alert that says, you should probably show up at 6 a.m. And I'm like, oh no. And I'm like, this is going to be a circus. But I didn't want to disappoint my daughter. So we went to the mall at 10 a.m. when the event was originally called for. And what you see right there is a picture that I took with 80, it wasn't right there, but in the mall, they counted 80,000 people.
Wow.
Namely girls from like 9 to 13, all screaming. Okay. And the thing that I realized when I got there was that this was a launch event for her skincare line called Sincerely Yours. The skincare line was done with Sephora. And that is when I really got annoyed. Because I realized that there were all these people in the mall. They were all lining up. They all drove there on their own will because their daughter told them that they wanted to go to the mall to meet Salish. And then to realize that it's just for a product that costs $25 to $32 that is being sold at Sephora to address a skincare problem that my daughter doesn't yet have, that the world has dealt with Clearasil and other stuff and Cetaphil before.
Guys, I gotta go.
See
Have
ya.
fun.
Mike.
Bye,
Peace out,
Michael.
man.
Take care.
That really annoyed me. And so I did more research on it, and I looked. There's private equity behind the launch of this product, and I just felt like I didn't have much choice in the matter. And I really am concerned about the fact that my daughter watches this content. It's all in all entertaining. Like, it's not saying bad things. But then when Salish says, hey, you probably, I'm putting my concealer on, or whatever it is that she uses, that is basically sending a message to my daughter that she might need that.
Yeah.
And that's what scares me.
Right. Yeah. So that's a great condensation about it. Great overview about that. I didn't know about the photographer history, but important. Now, Jess, when we talked about this in the pre-product, you mentioned Kylie, and I thought you meant Kylie Minogue. It's Kylie. What was your experience with this?
Well,
influencers.
Yeah, I mean, I really was, when we were talking about what products have influenced, what influencers, celebrities have actually made us buy things. I think it's been a while since that's happened, or if it's even, I think that was a rare occurrence. I think Kylie in 2015, the interesting thing about what you just said, Jay, and I looked into the Salish's dad as well, is this is kind of a Nepo thing, right? This is generation 2 of fame, and we're touched by buying products related to families that are already established as like a corporate machine, right? So Kylie had a platform because she's a Kardashian, and her foray into product development felt authentic to me because in the fake TV show that I watched, which was these girls' lives, and on social media, she seemed like the outlier, like somebody that was actually relatable, somebody who wasn't taking themselves too seriously, had a good sense of taste, you know,
Right.
music taste. I liked what she was, you know, putting out there, and it was in clear or like it was the opposite basically of what her sisters and what the establishment, because that's what they represented to me, was doing. So yeah, I bought that Kylie lip kit, and I feel like since then it's really morphed into being influenced into styles or like product categories more than, you know, these certain but I felt some sort of inclusivity by buying that lip kit, you know, and it dried my lips out horribly, but I was very, you know, if you look at, I should like give you guys a photo to put of me with the red lips, because I was taking a selfie on the train in Brooklyn into Manhattan wearing the dried out lips, matte finish, you know. But
You bring up a good point, Jess, that I want to make sure we don't pass through, which is the inclusivity, the attachment to the community of the fandom, of the support, right? I feel like that when you said that, I thought of like the Beats headphone, like having the
big time.
B. It was like an unspoken, like, okay, we're in this sort of cool thing together sort of thing. And I think there's an element of the influencer that's tapping into that, is like, we are in this, we are together as part of this community that's representing like this thing that I bought.
If you know, you know, right? Because you wouldn't necessarily know to know. And I think that's something that is definitely touched. You know, now it's these influencer brands, but it used to be collaborations, right? Like,
still happening. There's still collabos.
Definitely there are. Yeah, absolutely. And this Sephora thing is essentially a collab, right? But it's framed as her products in Sephora, but for all we know, it's a private label thing that Sephora might offer to celebrities and brands.
Well, they claim in the research I did that there's an advisory board made up of teens or whatever it may be. You know, they're saying all the right things, but that doesn't make it right.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, and
I'm definitely not a dermatologist.
Right.
There is a dermatologist behind it. Like I did all the research, but again, you know, I don't.
What makes it wrong, Jay? Like, what's sticking in your gall of like, what makes it feel icky to you?
What makes it feel icky is that they earned my daughter's trust based on family fun scenarios, and when they cross the line from family fun to I'm having family fun, but I'm going to sell a product, and there's no delineation between that. That's what, and the analogy I'll make is Google AdWords. You know, when that came out in the marketplace, there was very little distinction between Google AdWords and
search results.
Results. Yeah. And then over the years, I haven't done the full research on it, but I'm sure there were regulations and customers getting confused. And then they shaded it and they said sponsored result and this and that. And I think that, I don't want to ruin their mojo, but I do think that there should be some sort of disclaimer. What really makes me mad is that I drove to that mall for a product launch that I didn't know about.
What would separate it from Disney, Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon? I feel like, you know, the stars of that, the Britney Spearses and the Justin Timberlakes and the Zac Efrons. I'm not seeing the distinction from what this is versus what that is.
Well, I mean, what they did. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, or did you think that there was going to be like a bounce house and a meet and greet rather than selling product, or like what product would you have been okay with?
I thought I thought that it was a meet and greet. That's all I thought about. I didn't think about much more than that. And then when I just realized how expensive the product was, and on top of that, you know, if you look at the demographic of the audience, 9 to let's say 11, like she's 15, but there were a lot of 9 to 13-year-olds.
Mhm.
That's before the age of needing anything, and women could tell me differently. I don't know, but like I've never had a skincare regimen that involved natural oils and juices or whatever it is, right? You know what I'm saying? And my skin is fine. You know, I know that, you know, there's a certain age where people get acne, but I was looking at the people there and I'm like, yeah, I don't see that right now, you know?
Right.
Yeah. No, I
Got
think it's a known issue. It's $1 billion shame driven business. Makeup, aesthetic improvements, things that are built to make you feel a little bit bad, but feel a little bit better. And isn't it good that there's a chance for us to feel better? And that is going to happen for guys, for everybody. So I wanted to quickly say, I remember I was wondering what it was. How do you I was persuaded or influenced, but at white wall shoes. And once, I don't know what happened, but guys were wearing those shoes with the big white walls on them. Do you know what I'm
Were those Vans? No.
I mean, they look like Vans, but at some point, all of the rich motherfuckers were wearing a certain type of shoe. I don't know if you remember this.
But that's not
What I forget it, but anyway, I'm not paying attention enough. But I just remember.
great.
Oh, we're wearing these shoes now. If you want to look like that up there, you have to wear those shoes. And so it does happen. I think Beats was a great callback to hip hop culture. Boy, talk about a lot of cultural codes, skater cultures. They have their own cultural codes. I remember in 7th grade, poser was a huge word. They're like, you're a poser. And I'm with posers. And then I realized if you're wearing skating clothes, they're going to call you a poser. It doesn't really matter who you are, but you have clothes that those people think. So don't buy those clothes. So I started to learn invisible ways that I was navigating around influence. But I love your contextual thought about the audience. I think Moni's way is like, yo, we can have influence, but once you're persuading people, there's a line in between this. And if we're going to go there, we should go there. But back in the day, late at night, paid testimonials. That's where those types of ads belonged.
Right.
Morning, somebody saying, I just put this thing on my face and I'm just amazed. And I can't even believe this. Like, your face looks completely different. You're like, look at this. Look at this. And they're like,
I love your props, Jake.
Well, but you know what I mean? But I'm just saying, paid testimonial was cordoned off, and now it's all paid testimonials. And rather than becoming an actor and then getting a gig like Pierce Brosnan, oh, I'm going to sell Omega watches. But first I have to be 007. And my goal is to sell Omega watches and be flattered enough that they come and knock on my door. Keep on going. I got more shit to talk about. We were talking about influence, the difference between persuasion, and I wanted to bring this up because I think it's critical. Facebook, back in February, abandoned fact checking. And that's like, okay, well, we didn't need that. But this relates to what we're talking about right now because they're offering bonuses for viral content and they changed their misinformation policy. Rather than slowing down the spread of hoaxes or viral misinformation, they stopped that. They took that out. This is the official update from what they got rid of to what they just now have it. And so they're saying like sometimes things can be misleading, but according to this research, latest piece from the Indicator, the bottom line is that they're done trying to stamp out viral hoaxes. So, like the gummies, the weight loss gummies with Kelly Clarkson, that was a huge scandal. And everyone was like, Kelly Clarkson, weight loss gummies. Vanessa Bryan is pregnant with whose baby? It doesn't matter. We're not going to fact check it. The Coldplay concert couple, they're back together. They're on a yacht. No, they're not. Doesn't matter. I said, Mel Gibson is connected to the Diddy Epstein. Doesn't matter. Go. Just publish it. And so as we're wondering, I want to work with influencers. I want to work. This is the polluted stream you're swimming in. So at some point, somebody's going to say, how do I even believe what you're saying, Jay, about Descript? You know what I mean? And it's just because this kind of stuff doesn't get slowed down anymore. So I just think this is a lot. There's so much we could talk about, so many pathways, but how can marketers think about influencers How should they use them? I just want to open up the floor again to y'all. And if somebody was said, hey, I'm thinking about using influencers, what would you tell this person? Jessica, tell me first.
I think that with anything, it's finding alignment, and when you're moving, you can only do like 2 of the 3: fast, good, or cheap, right? And I think
Right.
people right now are trying to do everything at once, and the bottom line and the quota. And I think that for a non-myopic brand, somebody who wants to be a legacy and not just, get in, screw everyone over, and then disappear or rename themselves, which I think is becoming more prominent
Mm.
or more popular of a strategy. I think it's finding an actual alignment with audiences that are small and have a better opportunity to actually grab hold of something and stay longer. And I think that it's kind of semantics, right? Like you talked about infomercials. Like it has seeped out of the 2 a.m. time slot, and it is everywhere. We are moving into like a Rick and Morty kind of like interdimensional cable world where we don't know what's off limits. And I think what you said about Meta is, I think what they've done is they've moved out of where like responsible for the content. Like instead of being a cable network where they have the FTC behind them and you can say certain things and you can't, they're more like a grocery store where the magazines, they're not responsible for what they say, right? Like they're governed, they're moving back, right? To say we're the platform where each content producer has a different governing body allowing it to say or not to say things, right? And so I think that I guess I'm going like I tend to do.
No, you're perfect.
No, it's good.
What
Got
said
you,
that
follow.
makes total sense, and I'm going to build on it. So I was walking through the city yesterday, and I saw a sign that said "Post no bills," and then I saw bills everywhere. And I looked up when someone posts a bill where there is a sign that says "Post no bills," who is accountable? And guess who is accountable? A lot of people could be accountable. A lot of people could be sued for that. But ultimately, if the police catch the poor schmuck who is putting up the bill that has nothing to do with the plan that the corporation
Works for a promoter. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, it doesn't have to be a poor schmuck, but it's poor because of the fact that the person is being caught
Yes.
doing something that they're getting paid to do. They would get the ticket for posting that bill. But just think about the company that hired, the advertising agency that printed the thing that gave the person the glue, and then they post the bills. Like, I don't think the city is going after that. That's part of the unique fabric of New York City. But nevertheless, it is not legal if a landlord says, I don't want advertising on my wall, you shouldn't post it on. So ultimately, who is accountable for all these decisions? If someone hires an influencer who recommends, I think you mentioned, Jake, an example of BetterHelp. Let's say you're an influencer for BetterHelp, and the person says you should use BetterHelp, and then the person who uses BetterHelp from that influencer realizes that BetterHelp is taking their data and potentially using it against them. I don't know all the details of that. Who is ultimately responsible for that?
We have moved on.
It does feel a bit like being the sponsor, the affiliate, the influencer you're the schmuck, right? You're the person posting the bill on the wall, right?
Yep.
And so you are, I don't want to say pimping yourself out, but really you're acting as you're putting on the makeup, and you're this face, right? But you're a face for who? And like, who do you really represent? And it's like, how long are you going to live on this earth as you are your brand? You can change as a person, but these sponsorships that you're attached to, like Jay is now not pimping himself out, but
Can
I
I
mean-
just say, I think what you just said, Jess, is if somebody came to me, and now both of you just gave me what I will tell this person, and then we'll get Moni's thought. If you're going to work with hoes, be prepared to act like a pimp.
Ooh,
Okay. And then, so
that's the clip of the week.
that's mine.
I agree.
Moni, that's it.
There's our conclusion.
Yeah,
So-
I agree. I was
Let
gonna
me talk.
say, I mean, I was gonna say, right? There's an exchange of money. You're doing it because you got paid, and the brand paid you, so they do that. You are a hoe in a certain sense. You know,
Oh my God.
you are agreeing to
because-
this.
I always
So-
thought I was a pimp.
I think that it brings us
So-
back to what
Both.
we were talking about with the music industry, right? Like being basically you're being put up to with the record contract with the lyrics that some little Jewish man with a ponytail writes. And you,
She's Jewish, by the way.
I'm Jewish too.
Hey,
So that's
let
what
it
I'm
fly.
saying. You're allowed to say that.
No, we're
because-
So
saying, yeah,
there-
you're allowed to because you're.
Keep going.
I just think that these tropes, these power dynamics are reinventing themselves in different ways. I think this
Yeah.
chronically online with younger generations just showing up there. I mean, I see people on TikTok who are around my age being like, this is day 5 of me putting myself online every day until I get over my fear of being seen. It's like, because we are adjusting adults to being to showing up where people are, which is now it's on the internet. Like this is what it is to participate in a conversation. We're doing
Yeah.
it. I think
Right.
that as people realize that this is where the world takes place and it's, you know, it's not forever. There is like kind of a rollover of memory, which is getting shorter and shorter. But I think that the responsibility lies in how much do you want your next paycheck to go up versus down, right? Because your value as a promoter, as an influencer, it's like, how good is your word? What did you say yes to when you didn't do the checking, right? And so there's also the other side of that where it's like, it's kind of when you say Jay got to write his own script, right? Yeah, he did, but depending on what he chose to write, you know, he might have written something that's a lot more positive than they would have even wanted him to write, because
Sure.
it's kind of like when you work at these cool tech companies where unlimited days off, it creates a culture of no days off because you want
so
to get
right.
your promotion. The other people, you're actually fighting against other people rather than having like a government set, you know, you get these 2 weeks off. It's now you're saying we're lowering the bottom line. Like I'm not taking off any hours so that I can get that next sponsorship deal.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh my
it's
gosh.
the illusion of influence, actually, kind of a little bit, right? It's just like what I learned from my graphic experience is like the first thing I took away was like, I'm never gonna probably do another kind of paid sponsorship thing again, right? Like that was my biggest takeaway. I'm not doing that. Even at the low, like it was like not even a big thing. It was, you know, kind of an exchange, but it was also like it wasn't worth it for me at all. And I realized that because I took money, I am now at the mercy of these people regardless. So it's like, it wasn't worth it for me. So I feel like for the brand that is influencing, I put less onus on the company. I put more onus on the influencer themselves. The companies that make money, that's what they're doing. That's their goal.
Right. Well,
Okay, they're gonna make money.
Let's talk about the term conflict of interest and what does that mean in our society now? I mean, I think that the best influence that you could have could be, okay, I don't have a conflict of interest. It's demonstrated fact that I have used whatever platform for years. I like the platform. Then you reach out to me and say, hey, let's work on it. That's different than, you know, giving someone money in order to deliver on a product that, you know, is designed to enhance. Like if I naturally said something about some company and someone feels it's worth something, then use it, you know?
Well, but I would say, you know, I think there's a lot of, you have to spark some kind of interest. You have to spark some kind of awareness. People have to be aware of something. So I think influencers are one kit in the toolbox. Here, go to this last step. I want to end with something that everybody can take away. I just want to thank Moni, Jess, and Jay for having this amazing conversation. If you're not following them on all of the socials, just do it. But I think we've aligned on a couple different truths, but I wanted to leave people with some thoughts. It seems like influencers are nowish. And if you're going for legacy, you need to kind of think long term. So there's short term and long term, again, considerations that you need to have. Objectives need to be, are they here to just get awareness right now, or are we positioning ourselves inside a culture? That's where you have to really start thinking. And I'm thinking that you should pick the right channel. Influencers might not be the go. You could go traditional or have an icon, or some owned content that kind of aligns these two things, sort of that brand collaboration. So, maybe there's a different way to pair it up, but make sure you have it in the right channel. And, if you're using them, treat them like media buys. You got briefs, you got contracts, you got reviews. You understand how both ways is going. Sort of like what Moni said, it was sort of a surprise. And sort of what Jay said, it's sort of like whatever you want. But like what Jess said, if you don't have anything set down, boy, you're going to get. So make sure you got that lane down. The brief is tight. It's like an advertising agency. Just imagine. So demand accountability. This is the other thing. Cost per influenced action. Well, you got to get this real tight. If you really want to track this tightly, then you set it up tightly. If you just want it to be broad and you just want people to show up at 6 a.m. all of America, well, then that's fine, but that's your conversion. Diversify smartly. Well, this is interesting. There's smaller people. Like Michael called you low-hanging fruit, which I didn't like. But then you got the mids and then you got the macros. So start thinking of the different ways you can influence. There's somebody that might have maybe start there. But I think ultimately you want to be authentic. You want to think about relationships, have long-term partnerships. But it's just one tool in the toolkit. Use it if you want to, or don't. I mean, I think what's the one thing you would tell somebody right now? One thing, it's got to be one thing. And I know what mine is. If you're going to work with hoes, you got to be prepared to be a pimp. What's one thing, Jess? What's one thing you're leaving them with?
It's alignment, and picking the right channel might now be picking the right influencer, because influencers are now their own channels.
Damn.
Whether it's on TikTok, they're cross posting, right? So an influencer is a channel.
Dang. Ooh, I like that. Okay, Moni, what's your one?
Look, as a business, you still have to deliver a good product. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Magic Spoon. That was heavy. They did a heavy influencer play in the fitness space because it's a protein forward cereal.
Yeah.
And a lot of people reviewed it and then shit all over it and said it was disgusting. So they got a lot of play, but the product ended up being shit. So it's only a play as so long as your product will take you. So it could work, but you still got to have all the rest of it to work with you, right?
That's a $10 cereal. I'll just let everybody know.
It's a $10 cereal.
It's on sale everywhere.
Yeah.
I think they have it at TJ Maxx now.
Wow, deep dives. Okay, we're uncovering truths. Okay, harsh ones. Jay, give us.
Yeah, you can just eat eggs and get better protein.
Right? Okay.
I'll just tell you this. I created a Mac post that promoted this live, and it got about half the traffic of any other Mac post that doesn't promote anything other than giving information. So I want marketers to be careful about the process that they follow to gain influence. We have worked a year and a half to get to a point where we have a solid group of subscribers on LinkedIn, on Substack, and that was because we haven't really tried to sell much. Now, there might be plans for us to sell in the future, but we need to earn that. And so that's the thing. You need to earn your place. Don't go too quick into the what's my conversion.
Love that. Oh, man. Well, hey, I want everybody to have a fantastic weekend. Thank you to Jay, Moni, Jessica, and everyone else who shared their Friday with us. We're the Marketing Accountability Council, and we'll be back soon. Take it easy. Wave, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, Moni.
I'm frozen. I'm frozen.
Oh, you can see my hands.
I'm Elsa.
Dude, well, let us know.